This is Gemara Nedarim Daf Nun. We're holding on the bottom of Mem Tesam and Beis. We're approximately 10 lines from the bottom. The first word on line is Min HaPesach Ad HaAtzeres. Min HaPesach Ad HaAtzeres. And we begin with Ella. We're continuing to discuss the fact of Yehuda's face shown. Ella Chachmas Adam Tayir Panav. The Gemara begins by quoting a pasuk that a man's wisdom, the chachma, can be tayir panav, can brighten his face. Continues the Gemara, Amar Le'ahu Tzeduki L'Rebbe Yehuda. Rabbi Tzeduki said to Rabbi Yehuda, Panecha daimim, your face is shining. Ikim alvei ribis, ikim gadli chazir. You're so happy. Either you just got a good loan with ribis, or must be you raised pigs, you made a quick windfall. Amar Le, Rav Yehuda said to the Tzeduki, V'huyudai tarvayu asirin. We Jews hold both of those things for asir. We don't lend with ribis and we don't gamble. Ella. Rather, what's the reason I'm so happy? There are 24 bathrooms between my house and the Beis Medrash and the yeshiva. And each hour I enter each and every one of them. We learned this way back in the Gemara and Brachas, and due to the fact that he took care of his body in such an extreme way, he used the bathroom and he emptied himself out. That's why his face shone. Continues the Gemara, Rav Yehuda Karazal Bei Midrasha. Rav Yehuda would go to the Beis Medrash, Shakal Gulfal Kasvei. And what would he do? He would take a jug in his shoulder. Why? That was what he would sit on. He would transport his chair with him. Amar Gedola Melacham Shemechabedes Es Baila. He said, great. Gedola is the work. Shemechabedes Es Baila, who is honors the one who performed it. He was happy to do a menial task, to carry the chair with him to bring it to shul. Similarly, Rav Shimon Shakal Tzina Al Kasbei. Rav Shimon took a basket on his shoulder to bring to yeshiva. Amar Gedola Melach Shemechabedes Es Baila. That real kavod. This is real kavod in order to work, in order to bring the chair to the yeshiva. The visitor of Yehuda, the wife of Rav Yehuda, Nafkas Noktas Amra. The wife of Rav Yehuda one time went out to the marketplace and purchased Amra, wool, of the Galima. From the wool, she made a shirt, a coat out of it, Dehotvi. She made a beautiful coat. Kanavkis Lashuka. When she was going out to the marketplace, Michsai Bey, she would cover herself and she would wear this cloak, this jacket, this shirt. And when Rav Yehuda went out to Davin, having michsas, he would wear it to Matzli. They would share the same jacket. They had no money, so she wore the jacket to go to the market, and he wore the jacket in order to Davin. And he would cover himself with it. He would say, blessed is he who wrapped me in this robe. Zimna Chada, giving thanks to Hashem, the fact that he had something to wear. Zimna Chada one time. Because Rav Shimon Gamliel Tainisa. Rav Shimon Gamliel was Geyser a fast. Rav Yehuda Lo Yasal Beit Tainisa. And Rav Yehuda didn't show up. Amran Lei, Lo Asas Lei. Kisui Shadu Lei Glima. And the other people said to Rav Shimon, you know why Rav Yehuda didn't come? Because Lo Islay Ksuye, he didn't have anything to wear. So Shadar Le Glimas, Rav Shimon Gamliel sent a jacket to Rav Yehuda. V'lo Kibel. Rav Yehuda said, I don't want to accept the jacket from Rav Shimon Gamliel. As we turn over to today's daf, Daf Nunam and Aleph, when Rav Yehuda wanted to explain to Rav Shimon Gamliel why didn't he accept it. So Dali Sifsa. So what did Rav Yehuda do? He lifted up a reed mat he was sitting on, and all of a sudden, miraculously, coins appeared. And he said to the shliach, Chazi, see, my ika. He told the shliach, look what's here. Look, I have money. Don't worry about it. It's not the fact I don't have money, said Rav Yehuda. I have the money. I just don't want to benefit from this world. And that was the way the Rav Yehuda denied and said he didn't want to accept the gift of the jacket from Rav Shimon Gamliel. He was happy to save his reward for the next world. And we continue with another story, perhaps a bit more famous story, about another great Tana that lived in extreme poverty. Says the Gemara, Rav Akiva is Kaddish Le Brato de Kalba Savua. Famously, Rav Akiva marries the daughter of Kalba Savua. Shama Kalba Savua. Kalba Savua hears that he's a wealthy man and his daughter married not only this poor man, but an ignoramus, a man that knew nothing. Shava Adre Hana Mikol Nichse. And he made a shvua that his daughter and his son-in-law should get no benefit from his entire estate. Azla still, nevertheless, still, she went and got married to Rav Akiva. Bisivsa. She got married to Rav Akiva in the winter. Have gani beitivna. They had no money. And what was her matches? She would sleep on straw. Have kaminka leitivna min meizaya. And Rav Akiva would pull out the straw from the hair. It would get stuck in her hair. Amar le. One day, Rav Akiva says to his wife, if I had money, I would buy you the Jerusalem of gold. I would give you everything. And what happens? Eliyahu the Navi shows up and appears to him. Excuse me. Eliyahu Navi shows up and appears like a man at the front door. The Kakari Abava. Knocking on the door, Amar Lahu, Eliyahu says to Rabbi Akiva, Havali porta de timna. Says Rabbi Akiva, please, could I have a little bit of straw? The eldest is a sea, because my wife has given birth. V'les mi dam naguna. She has absolutely nothing to lie down on. So Amar La, Rabbi Akiva. So what happens? Rabbi Akiva says to his wife, Lan chute chazi gavra dafilu timna lo yislay. Look, here's a person that doesn't even have a straw. At least we have straw to lie on. Amralei. So Rabbi Akiva's wife, Rachel, says back to Rabbi Akiva, Selhava Bey, Rav, go and learn in yeshiva. Azal Tartis Rishon, Rabbi Akiva goes for 12 years. Kamei Rav Elazar Rav Yeshua Lemishlam. Kamei Rav Elazar Yeshua. He goes and learns for 12 years in the yeshiva Raz in Yeshua. Lemisha Tartis Rishon. When 12 years were up, Kasi Lebeisa. Famously, Rav Gamliel is returning home and Shamam and Achari Beisa. And Rav Gamliel hears outside his wife, the Kamar Lo Chad Rosh L'Devisu. There's a Rasha that says to his wife, Shaber Abdul Avucha, your father did good. Your father made a neder. Your father said that he will not give you and your husband any benefit. It's good. Chad, not number one. Telo damilach. Number one, your husband is not like you. Your husband knows nothing. And meaning, or the Ran explains, your husband doesn't come from a chashav family for like you. Va'ai shavkas amrolas chayos kulan shnin. He left you an alman in your life. You're like a widow. You have nothing. He left you for all these years. Amr alei, the wife of Rabbi Akiva responds to the neighbor, if you would have listened to me, I would send him to learn for another 12 years. Amar, Rabbi Akiva hears this, and oil the obviously Rishusa, and he says, once my wife has given you Rishus, he turns around under Azal Avitartis Rishnin Achunaisa, and he learns for another 12 years in yeshiva. And of course, we can't continue without mentioning the famous line of Rav Chaim Shulevitz, in which he asks, why didn't he just walk in, of course, and say hello to his wife and say thank you and leave? And for those 10 seconds, he would have been thinking and learning. What's the big deal? And Rav Chaim Shulevitz famously remarked that 12 and 12 is not 24. It's true. He would have learned 12 years, then he would have learned another 12 years. That doesn't equal the 24 years of ritzifus, of solid learning. Perhaps us learning Daf Yomi together, the chizik for us is every single day with that consistency, never to have the break. For him to go in and say hello to his wife would be the break. We have to always be continuing one continuous seder of limud. Continues the Gemara, Asa be'eserin v'arba alfin. So after the 12 to 24 years, he comes back with 24,000 Talmidim. Zugi Talmidim, 48,000 Talmidim. Nafei kuli amal abe. So everyone hears that this wonderful Gadol is coming, so they'll go to greet him. Vavi, and his wife as well. She also goes to greet. Here, Gadol is coming. Amar Allah, Ahu Rishia, that Rasha, that neighbor, says to the wife of Rabbi Akiva, Va'at leicha, where are you going? You're dressed in such disgusting, tattered clothing. Amar Allah, she responds, Yoidea tzadik nefesh be'emto. Tzadik knows the soul of his animal. Asa laschuz yilei. So she comes, she tries to get Rabbi Akiva's attention. Kamatchi la Rabban, and the Rabbanim are pushing her away. What's this woman doing over here? Get out of here. Amar le'oin. Rabbi Akiva stops everyone and says, Hanichu la, the famous words. Leave this woman here. Shali v'shalachem. What's mine and all these Talmidim is shalahu, is hers. It's all because of her Mesiras Nefesh to let me go learn. And the Gemara concludes that Shama Kalba Savua heard that what happened, the great man arrives in town, he doesn't know it's his son-in-law. So what happens? He decides, you know what, let me get rid of my neder. Asa ve'ishal al nidre. He goes and he asks to get rid of his neder from his daughter, and they release Rav Akiva. Some of the Mefarshim explain that what really happened was they brought Rav Akiva up to Darshan, and Kalba Savua was sitting right there, and Kalba Savua said, who is this person? And they told him, this is your son-in-law, the one you were neder from. And of course, he opened up he wanted to get rid of the neder, and famously Taisus remarks, how can you get rid of the neder? He made a neder, you have to have a reason. And the answer is that whoever goes to yeshiva, he's going to become a gadol. And that's the reason why they're able to get rid of the neder. Continues the Gemara, 2 lines from the wide lines from 6 sources. Rav Akiva became wealthy. Rav Akiva, number 1, min kabel savua, from his father-in-law after he got rid of the neder. Number 2, min ayola disfinta, from the head of, there was this aisle on the head of a ship. The Chol Sfinta, the Gemara explains what's going on here. Every ship of Dunlay, they would make for it min ina, they would make for it some sort of semblance of a heart of an aisle at the front of the boat. Zimna chada and shuri al kif yama. So one time the sailors forgot this front of the boat on the seashore. Asa who Ashechen. Rekiva came and found it, and with this he became wealthy. Number 3, for the 4th line from the bottom, out of Rekiva come wealthy, umin gavza, from a certain treasure chest. What is the story with the treasure chest? The Zimna Chada, one time, Yavi Arba Zuzi Lisfunai. One time, Rav Akiva gave 4 zuz to some sailors. Amr Laho, Isli Midam. He said to the sailors, give me something for the money I just gave you. And they didn't find anything, so there was some box on the seashore. Al Kif Yama, on the seashore, they gave him the box. Amru, Lay. They said to him, Ava Mirana Alei. Go and use this. This is what you could get with your 4 coins. Dinri was filled with coins. That's how he became wealthy. And number 4, Zimna Chada. Now how did the chest become filled with coins? The Gemara explains. The Zimna Chada Tava Tzvinasa. One time the ship was owned by Arabs, sunk at sea. Bakuli Iska Have Machis Bahu Gavza. And their entire business profits were inside this box. Vishtacha Bahu Zimna Demin Disarkisa, and it remained lost until they found it. Now the 4th occasion that Rekiva became wealthy is min matrinisa, from a certain noblewoman, in which the Gemara itself does not explain exactly what this is. We turn over to Nunim Abeis. Umin Ishtai Shalchunis Rufus, number 5. Umin Ketia Bar Shalom, and number 6 from Ketia Bar Shalom. So that is the famous story of Rav Akiva, the famous lesson of Ritzifas in Taira, the incredible Mesiras Nefesh of Rachel, Ishes, Rav Akiva, and of course the limud, that whenever one learns Taira, who is the one that gets the schar, who is the impetus for it all, and his wife and his family. Everyone should, of course, thank their wife and family for being their pillar. Shali v'shalachem shalah. Continues the Gemara, Rav Gamda on the 2nd line of Nunim Abeis, Yav Dal Zuni L'Sunai, gave 4 zuz to some sailors, Asui behind me down to give him some. They couldn't find anything. Aslay behind Kupa. So similar to Rav Akiva, what happened? They brought him a monkey. Ishtamit. And what happened as you're bringing to the monkey escaped? All lecharta, the monkey went into a hole. Chafru basrei, they dug to get the monkey out. Ishkachua derabia all mar galusa. They found the monkey sitting on a whole bed of pearls. Aisin alei kulon. And what happened was the sailors brought it to Rav Gamda, as he was the impetus for this find, and therefore he received the incredible treasure. Continues the Gemara, really commenting on something we said yesterday on Mem Testament Beis, the story between the Roman noblewoman Amru Le Bas Keser Bishub ben Chanani. This is a story that we've seen already in a Gemara in Tainis. So the Caesar says, the daughter of the Caesar says, Rav Shimon Chananya, Torah mefuares b'kli mechor. Rav Shimon Chananya, you're ugly. The beautiful Torah is such an ugly vessel. Amar lei limdi limide mi beis avucha. So he responds and he says, Limdi, let's learn from your father. What does he put wine in? Amar lei b'mani de pachra. In lowly vessels. Amar lei says to her, Kuli amba pachra v'atam b'mani de pachra. I don't understand. You store your wine. You the king. You the Caesar. You store your wine in the same place as everyone else. Asan, so what happens? Rather, you should go, you should put your wine in gold and silver. So Azla, she goes, she listens and puts the wine in gold and silver vessels, Visari, and of course, it's ours. Amar la. So Rishua ben Chananya says to her, Afaraisa kain. The Torah as well, if the Torah is put into a beautiful keli, it also turns sour. The less one is involved in materialistic pursuits, the more the Torah can flourish. Asks the Gemara, Vashapirin v'gamirin. We know there are Tanayim and Amarayim who are beautiful, and they still learn Torah. Amar Allah, so Rishua ben Chananya responds, if they wouldn't be so beautiful, they would even know more Torah. And on that note, comments the Gemara, there was a woman who came in front of Yerdua from in Ardai Ladina for a bin Torah. And she was found liable. She was chayv to pay money. Amr lei Shmuel. So the woman wasn't happy. So the woman said to Rabbi Yehuda, Shmuel Rabbah, Shmuel your Rebbe, Hachi Danin? Is this how your Rebbe would dan? Amar lo. So Rabbi Yehuda responds, Yadas lei, do you know Shmuel? Amr lei, she responds, in Kutza v'Rabba Krise. Of course I know Shmuel. He's short and he's a pot belly. And Uches v'Rabba Shine. Not only that, he's dark and he has long teeth. Amar la. So Yehuda responds to her, Levazuye ka'asis. You come to make fun of my Rebbe Shmuel. This woman should be in Shmaita. This woman should be excommunicated. And what happened? Her nefesh burst out of her and she died. The care that one has to be never to say disparaging remarks against Gedolei Yisrael. Omoter bebeitza smack in the middle of the Amid of Nun and Beis, the two dots we said in the Mishnah that you're allowed to eat a beitza termita. That if you made a neder against mevushal cooked food, you're allowed to eat this egg dish. So says the Gemara, my beitza termita, Amar Shmuel, Avda da Avid law. You know the way they cook this dish? A slave would cook it. Shavi alpha dinri. A slave that would make it was worth 1,000 gold dinarim. They would first boil it up 1,000 times in hot water, then 1,000 times in cold water. Until till it became so small that you could swallow the egg whole without chewing it. And if one is sick, srich Allah, by swallowing this egg, the egg as it goes through the body would grab hold of part of the body that was sick. And when the patient used the bathroom, this egg would come out, and on the egg you'd be able to see which part of the body had this sickness. Yoda asita ma'isama. And what would happen? The doctor will know which cure he needs, and how to heal the person. This is, I guess, the first primitive swallowable video camera. Video cameras wasn't actually a video camera. This was an egg, but it worked the same way that by swallowing it, they're able to tell which part of the body had issues. A similar story says the Gemara Shmuel Avei Bodig Navshei. Shmuel will examine himself a bikulcha with his entity called kulcha, the mistarin inish beisei, until the people in his household would undo the braids of their hair alei siren due to the stress. Why? Because this procedure that Shmuel would do will cause him incredible pain, and his family members cannot handle it. So comments the Gemara Tanan House we learned in the Mishnah Bechlufsin. If they're working with klufsin figs, lo yochal bibanois. if they're working with banais figs, bibanai shava lo yuchal beklufsin. Says the Gemara, my klufsin. What is a klufsin? Again, the reason why we're talking about this, we just said a moment ago about an eved that was able to prepare this 1,000 dinar dish. Now we talk about different things that Avadim could do. What is klufsin? Says the Gemara, mini de te'ena, it's a type of fig, the avda min hoin lafti, that you make from it a certain fig dish. And says the Gemara, ugavra diava avda lachavre lagmure. There was a certain man who sent his servants to a friend, lagmure alpha mine lafti. Why did he send his friend? To teach him how to make 1,000 different types of lifty, of cooked fig dishes. Agamri, he learned. Tim Nemeya, he learned how to make only 800. Azamne Ladina, he brought the friend to the entirely Kamei de Rebbe. Amar Rebbe Avaisenu Amru Nashinu Taiva. So Rebbe said, our forefathers said, Nashinu Taiva, we forgot all the luxuries. Anu afilu b'inyano l'reinu. And comments Rebbe, while we have never even witnessed such luxury in the first place, basically Rebbe reprimanding them for even going so crazy and trying to learn these 1,000 different dishes. Continues the Gemara, we conclude learning about the incredible opulence and wealth of Rebbe. Rebbe Avdale Hilula Rav Shimon Rebbe. When Rebbe made a wedding for his son, Kosav al Beis Ginana, he wrote, Bar Kapara wrote on the wedding hall, Esrim Va'arba Alfin, 24,000 million Ribuin Dinrin, million dinarim, Nofek al Beis Ginana were spent to build this wedding hall. Of course, this was back with Zman Chazal, they would build a wedding hall to give to their child. Din, V'lo yazamni lebar kapara. Bar Kapara was upset, yet he didn't invite kapara. Amar le Bar Kapara said to Rabbi, in jest, Bar Kapara says to Rabbi, if this wealth is those who quote unquote transgress Hashem's will, because Bar Kapara wasn't happy that he didn't get invited, how much more money should those who follow Hashem's will? Basically, Bar Kapara is asking for an invite to the wedding. Azam, they invited Amar Loisi returning by the Mazeh, and of course, we remind ourselves how to understand this Gemara is not so simple, because Rebbe was the quintessential one that raised his 10 fingers at the end of his life, etc. Kadosh Baruch he was not nenem hazeh afilu be'etzba kitana. So exactly what it means that he spent so much money on the wedding. Of course, there are many deeper explanations, but we're going to leave it over here and we'll pick it up from the bottom of Nunam Beis the next year. B'siyata Dishmaya.